All right. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had a good day in the market. Before I start, remember if the second stream goes out, please let me know and I'll be able to refresh it. Now, tonight, just like most of the other live sessions, I will be covering over a few trade reviews and chart reviews, of course, as well as my kind of process of how I became a profitable trader. Okay. Now, before we start off, right, I wanted to just touch over, right? Good work today in the Discord, guys. Nice poll, right? Congrats to Mr. Harris and Quantas on your record day. Good work. As well as profits and percents, right? Let's start it up from the very top today. Almost there. Yesterday. There we go. Okay. Very nice from Puddin. Puddin. Oh my god. Johnny Ringo. Nice work, guys. Very good. Right. I know, right? If we look at good work, Qantas and Mr. Harris, right? Look at their record days. Awesome. Right. Looks like he doubled his account. And him too. Amazing. Our Blasquez always killing it. As well as Mini, right? Good work, everyone. So right, I wanted to touch on a bit about our goals and everything going into our trading session, and especially this new month, right? So this new month, I know that a lot of traders kind of struggled with coming or transitioning into the new month. It was kind of interesting because last month we only had 18 out of 20 green days, and we the only red days was the first trading day that we had on the 3rd of January, right? First trading day that we had, and then the very last day of the month, right? On that same Monday. So very interesting, and it is something to take note of, right? Now, when we do come into a fresh month or just now leaving a month, typically what you see are a lot of people trying to meet quotas, or just ending, wanting that typical ending of having the month being green and then starting the month off green, right? Everybody wants to do that, and through probability and statistics, right, that's not possible. Okay, we can't have 100% of everyone being green on the same day, right? No one would make money. So going into today, I'm going to touch on a few just TA things, some kind of overviews of our trades from today, as well as we'll start pushing into my journey of becoming a profitable trader, right? Everyone starts off out from the same kind of level, right? Everyone has the potential to become a good trader, or picking up bad habits to become a bad trader, right? So going through, right, everyone goes through a losing phase. They bounce between break even, back to losing, break even, right, consolidating in between that, and then they get, they start to become a profitable trader. Okay, so we'll dig in deeper into that. I want to touch on a few things in regards to technical analysis. Now remember, we chart out the pre-market. Let me move this back. We chart out the pre-market prep plans every morning. Okay, every morning we do this, and there's 4 situations. Now I like to start off trading the pre-market high and the pre-market low, charting that out, as well as the previous day high and the previous day low. Okay, so we can see just off of the bat here, right, pre-market high, pre-market low. I am always marked a break in the base. So this is typically what I want to see. I'm not a breakout trader, right? I will buy on the base, this level right there, right? And that's just a textbook kind of example, right? Or I'll trade the rejection. So something exactly like this, right? Touching that zone and rejecting, right? So, and exactly what happens here, I know for a fact, pushing through and touching these levels, one of these situations has to occur, right? I mean, that is a fact. At some point in the day, at some point in time, price action has to touch this level, because it's touched it and has broken through previous levels plenty of times, and throughout history, it has always done that. So going through, right, we can see right off the open, right, bouncing off the pre-market low. I had a demand zone drawn here. just off the base of that lower wick, right? Bouncing off of the pre-market low demand, right? 360, 361 calls. We traded these, okay? When you get a push up, why is it a good idea to short this based off this pre-market high supply kind of area, right? Because the risk to reward is no longer in the longs or the bullish or the bulls favor, right? That is, a fact. So there's a lower lower risk and higher reward for shorts, right? If you short around this area, right, larger money's not going to stop out until this pivot high is broken, right? That's pretty common sense. So going through here, we can see, hey, we bounce off this demand, push or reject off the supply. We come back down. What happens here? BNB below pre-market low. Okay, break and base. Remember I told you guys a break and base is just like this. Breakdown, pushes up, bases, and then continues in that further and continues in that direction, right? And I mean, I have a lot of chart lines here. These are all from trading. So, right, we see a breakdown of the pre-market low level. It pushes up bases, so uses that previous support as resistance, and then continues in the further direction, right? That allows fresh shorts or late shorts to enter into that trade. Okay? Remember, if you guys have any questions, I'll try to cover them along the way. You guys are more than welcome to post them in the Stacks chat or in the Twitch chat if you're watching on Twitch. So going forward, right? This is why we do this each morning. I chart out SPY, the QQQ, right? Other indexes, looking at VIX, NASDAQ, everything like that. I know for a fact that that is going to happen. And I've had a lot of epiphanies the last few weeks, about simplifying my trading, pacing myself, taking much more patient entries. And, the FOMO entries, I mean, we've known this and have covered this for, since the beginning of the group, right? The FOMO entries are unnecessary and completely avoidable due to the fact that, we know that it's going to come back and retrace, and I want to watch and understand and identify that reaction when it does come back in base, right? So I'm going to clear this out completely so we have a clean chart to work with. I'm on the 5-minute chart, okay? So you can see here, right, the 5-minute EMA on the 1 minute, okay? The 1 minute, okay, you can see here the 5, these are prime short entries, right? Within the EMA kind of moves here. But if you're stuck here on the 1 minute, okay, is the mic cutting out? Okay, I just want to make sure. Oh, it's just lag. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Let me, I think they're watching TV downstairs or something. So going through, right? Okay, fine on Twitch, good. Going through here, okay? Now, remember, I marked those entries on the 5-minute, okay? And those are prime entries on the 5-minute. And if you're stuck trading on the 1 or maybe even like the 2 or something, you have to understand what these time frames are for, okay? So it's like, the 1 minute is not the Swiss Army pocket knife of charts, right? You can't use it in every situation. So going through here, smaller time frames, okay, are for smaller time frame trades. So if I am trading on the 1 minute, I'm looking to get out much quickly, or much more quickly, right? And if I'm trading on a larger time frame, now the 5 is not a huge time frame, but if I'm trading on the 5 in regards to day trading, then I can hold on a bit longer. You can see that the 1 minute, yes, it gives you a good entry, decent entry, right? Kind of scary for the consolidation on the 20 EMA. But down here, right, there's no trade, right? You would call this chop, or, you would have gotten stopped out from your 1 minute EMAs, right? But going back on the 5, right, clean entries, okay? Cleaning that up. Even if you look at the 10, right, focus your time frames on these stronger kind of setups throughout the day, okay? Look at the 10 minute. The 10 minute would have kept you in this trade. If you took a short here, let's say around 12 o'clock, would have kept you in the trade all day, right? All day. It's that simple. I'm not going to cut my entry unless the 20 EMA fails, right? Now, depending upon if you're trading 0 DTE, right, understanding theta and everything like that, right? But if you're trading the next expiry out or even the second expiry out, this is just smooth sailing, right? And when I go through and I am looking for looking for tickers to trade that I don't normally trade. So like, something that I don't normally trade would be like Qualcomm, right? I do trade it from time to time, but it's not something that I chart every morning, right? Qualcomm, right? Pretty clean trend on the 10, right? Now, when I go through and I chart things out, if I'm just reviewing, the first thing I do is I look at the 10-minute EMAs and see, hey, could I have made money on this trade based off these EMAs, right? And you could have most definitely here today. 10 minute, 10 minute, 10 minute, right? All the way down. Remember, later entries dictate quicker profit taking, right? Look at all this soaking on the 20 EMA, right? All day, the day prior. Okay, this day, not so much. This was a range day. We would have wanted to use our supply and demand, right? There's demand, there's supply, right? Clean shorts off of that supply all day. Look at this day prior. 9 and 20 EMA on the 10 minute, holding strong and true. Now, when you do get a bit extended up here, that's where your smaller time frames come in handy. But you know that, hey, if there's a space like this in between your EMAs, right, there's no reason to be buying up here. It's not going to shoot up like this, okay? It's not going to shoot up on a big green stick. The human mind may trick you to think so, but that is not the case. Okay, so going through, right? Is Twitch buffering? Is Twitch good? Someone said it was buffering. I have a green square, right, on the OBS today. There's a nice little green square. Yesterday it was red, so I don't know why. Okay, Twitch is good. Just making sure. So, right, so if you're looking to find a new ticker to trade, look at your 10 minute, okay? Look at this day. This day, not so much, but remember, we're not strictly EMA traders. Okay, this is something to scope out for a majority of these trades today, or not today, but majority of these kind of reviews for Qualcomm. You're getting trends like this. I mean, look at this 10 minute. If you took a short here on the 9, why would you have stopped out, right? Now, I also want to talk about, a lot of people are struggling with knowing how to scale out. Okay, so, maybe you understand how to get an entry off of the EMAs, right? But how to scale out, right? This is and I want to talk about this, right? Trading is not like, you don't have to learn the new trick every week. Like, learning more and more strategies makes me better. Like, no, that is not true at all. Learning more strategies actually hurts you in the long run, right? It adds noise to your trading, kind of strategy. If you guys have been trading with me and following along with the stream, you guys understand that, my trading style is not difficult. It is not overly complicated. We don't do it Bollinger Bands or Elliott Waves or, RSI, MACD, right? And 9 and 20 EMA, 200 EMA, VWAP, supply and demand, and price action trading, right? Very, very simple. So, going through here, if you take a short, okay, you take a short. That's a pretty simple entry there off the 10-minute 9 EMA, right? You take a short, and this is the support that's being held. Once that support breaks, you need to scale out, right? So maybe you join the ask, you get filled there. I don't care if it dumps the rest of the day, right? Because I didn't know that it was going to dump the rest of the day. I have no clue that it's going to dump the rest of the day. You need to be able to lock in profit, right, appropriately and consistently. Just like Soggy said, right? He said, before I joined this room or the Discord, I thought I had to learn super complex strats and thought the simple strats did not work. Now, why does why do the EMAs work? Why does VWAP work? Why does supply and demand and support and resistance work, right? Those are some of the most basic concepts and basic strategies that come alongside with trading. So if they're the most common, then you have more traders trading based off of that. So you have more money being reflected and decisions being made based off of these basic concepts and basic strategies, right? So it adds strength to that. I have always looked at the most common and the most, the ones with most strength. Like, people do use MACD and RSI. Those are very common, but I don't use them because they don't give me a lot of strength. I feel like if you can understand price action in a strong sense, then those are meaningless to me. I don't need to know if something's oversold or overbought or this or that, right? Those terms right there actually give me a sense of, intrinsic bias, right? I think I was talking with Noah from Real Ones earlier today, and he was mentioning something about a bear flag on AMD, right? And I was like, I don't really like terms like that, right? I mean, we took a long here, right? All in that demand. Yeah, this is a push down. Someone could have said bear flag, right? But we made 30, almost 40% on this move here, right? And it was a bear flag because it was in a downtrend, right? The terms bear and bull, flag or formation or pennant, this or that only adds bias to the trade. Yes, you can have an understanding of, hey, we're under VWAP, big sell or big push down. 9 and 20 EMAs are bearish because the 9 is under the 20. Sure, understand the context of the chart, but don't be overly biased, right? Because if you've been like, oh, this is a bear flag, I'm taking a short, right? Did you not see this ascending trend line, right? All these bottoming wicks, this demand, previous supply turning demand here, right? Everything like that. Let's see. Anai said, I've been studying price action day after day but today I realized I understood it better than I thought when I took entries on the 5. The 1 just was too much information and led to emotional trades for me. Need to get better with the 5 and then maybe move to the 3 or 1 when I become confident. So remember, Anai, I talked about, using the right time frame, right, for the right trade, right? This is a craft, right? And in a craft, we have tools, right? And with these tools, there's the right tool for the right job. So, I want to touch in on this. The 5-minute EMAs are worthless to me here, right? Would you guys say that in your review, right? This is giving me no entries. Maybe that's not even the best, right? So, on heavy momentum, right? Heavy momentum, I don't want to be in that trade very long. I don't know how long it's going to move up. It's very volatile. It's very, an overreaction, I would say. And you can see here in hindsight, big spike up, big sell off because this was an overreaction. This should have never truly happened. Okay. Here, I'll put the link. Yeah, I'll go over the 84% rule again, go long. I need to make a video. I have a huge list of videos and just, the time. But going through, right, the 5-minute did me, or the 10-minute did me no good here, right? But let's go on the 1 on this momentum. I'm going to mark out that you don't see any entries here on the 10, right? We're going to find a lot of entries on the 1. Right? On momentum, right? This is a huge move, right? You break the high of the day, right? Look, EMA's cross down here. You're getting higher low, higher low, higher low, right? Push up, pull back. 9 EMA tap there, 9 EMA tap there, right? Another 9 EMA tap there. But remember, later entries dictate quicker profit taking. Typically, when we do get a big push up, a big bullish stick like this, I like taking the first 2 pullbacks. Okay, the second one is less meat on the bone, but still rather decent. And the first one, you have to be fast, but you have less risk, right? And much more reward because you're early. So this first pullback was very clean, and then the second pullback, right? First and second. Look at what happens at the third. Third pullback, pulls up, creates a lower low, but you're still maintaining your 1-minute EMAs, and then you get a higher high. Remember, if you take that dip add, and there's a resistance to break, what should you do, right? What should you do right there? Scale out on higher high. Or, it's called a pivot break. Right? So you get a dip at, this is the problem with newer traders. They're like, oh, I got my entry, right? We're good. It doesn't matter, right? I got my entry. We're golden. We're set. But they don't take into context of how far extended we are. And they don't understand the rule of later entries to take quicker profit taking because we do not have the luxury of those earlier entries like these 2 down here. So if you get a dip at, okay, and it goes in your favor and you get a higher high and you don't lock in profit, what happens? They eat your lunch, right? It comes right back down to your entry. Then you're sitting there like, oh shit, I should have sold. This is probably going to come down now, right? So then you stop out again, right? And then what happens? They bring it back up, okay? But not very soon. This is probably like 20, 30 minutes later. So it's better to be an aggressive seller, especially when you're scaling out. Go long wants me to cover over the 84% rule. This is not my thing. It is just something that I don't see a lot of traders talk about or use, but I learned it from Jared from Live Traders on YouTube, right? You can learn anything and anything from anyone, but you have to trade what you can understand and wrap your mind around and truly execute. I use this all the time. Members in the Discord use it all the time, and I'll show you the benefits of it. Okay? So let's say this. Okay. Let's say that you get 1 second. Where's an opportunity here? Okay, let's say that you have a pretty a bad entry there, right? You go long buying up there. Okay? But you still have the bullish perspective. You have higher lows. Come on. Higher lows, right? And another higher low. Right? Okay, bullish perspective is intact. You have supply here, right? But we're pushing up. You just get you get a little early on your entry. Okay, remember you're pretty extended from the EMA and VWAP as well. So you get an entry there, right? First scale in. Then when it comes back down, right? Maybe because you have paper hands or weak emotions, or you're not. This is too much of a pullback for you, even though the pullback where you cut is typically where you want to take entry, right? But newer traders don't understand that. So pushing through here, right? When it comes back down, you get stopped out. Stopped out, right? So what happens to a lot of traders is that, hey, you take the initial entry, you get wicked out. See this bottoming wick due to weak emotions or paper hands or something. And then they just watch it rip in front of their face, right? They just watch it go up and up and up and up, right? So if you get wicked out like this and it is coming off a pivot and you do have the trend in your favor, whether or not you're trading, in a bullish perspective or bearish perspective, right? When it comes back to your entry after you've gotten stopped out, it is worth taking it again. So you may not get the exact same entry. You may get a little bit above, okay? But that 84% rule works out 84% of the time, right? Yes, that is the kind of corny name, right? But it does work. I use this day in, day out. Maybe not every single day, but, I do use it every week, at least 4 or 5 times a week. So when it shoves down, okay, you get stopped out, you get wicked out, right? And then it comes back up. Instead of you just watching passively this trade moving on and be like, oh my God, I had entries down there, I can't take an entry again, right? Be quick with your entry. Take it again. It's as if you never stopped out, right? And what it's going to do, it's going to erase your losses if your thesis is correct, right? So the reason why it works is that maybe you had weak emotions or, paper hands or, anything like that, poor execution, right? But your overall thesis was right. You bought a call here, not the best entry for a call, but you bought a call here, right? And when you're buying a call, you're expecting it to go up, right? So your thesis was correct, but your execution was poor for the trade, right? So that would have saved you and recuperated your loss, and you would have made a good trade there. So let's see. Wouldn't that first arrow be super risky though, because it's under the demand zone? This supply zone here, that's what I'm talking about. Newer traders, they do take risky trades, right? They do, right? All of the time. I mean, I have a note written down here. And it says knowing right from wrong. So how many times have you guys taken a trade? Oh, you missed this pullback. Oh, you missed this pullback. Oh, now it's ripping up. It's going higher, right? You FOMO into that. But when you take the trade, you feel like, this probably isn't the best idea, right? But you take it anyway, right? You know that it's not the best idea, the best risk to reward, but you take the trade anyway, right? Everyone does that. Everyone goes through that, right? You have to be able to erase that from your trading. I know that, hey, when this is far extended off the 9, very far away from the 9, there's no reason to buy it there. You're just the liquidity. For this person who bought here, they're selling up here. Why? Because you got a higher high pivot, right? Just like we talked about. So don't be the liquidity. Don't be that person buying up someone else's scale out, okay? Yeah, nice and I. Good work. Yeah, no problem, brother. So going through, right, I want to cover over, how I became a profitable trader. Okay. Everyone asks me this, hey, how long did it take you to become profitable, right? What did you do to become profitable? Profit, 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 right? Before profit, there has to be a process. And a lot of traders don't have a process, right? Can you sit here right now, right? If I asked you, hey, I need you to write down what exactly your edge is, what your risk tolerance is, and who you are as a trader, right? Could you confidently and comfortably answer that, and not being, not fluffing it up, not being like, oh, I'm this trader, I'm that trader, and then you trade the next day and you don't do anything, right? Could you be 100% honest with me and write out who you are, what kind of trader you are, and what your edge is, right? A lot of traders don't know. A lot of traders don't know, but they put their money into the market, and that is dangerous. That's a dangerous combination. So, um, going through this, my process of becoming a profitable trader, right? Good friends with Rodessa very early on in my trading career. I was just talking with them, and this I was not charting at the time, right? I'll just be completely honest. I was like, trading the chart during the day, but not reviewing at night. And I was like, yo, hey, what's up, Rhodes? Like, um, you know, what exactly am I missing, right? What am I missing in my trading? What do you do that maybe I'm not seeing, because I see that you're taking these trades and doing very, what am I not doing? And he was like, the first thing he asked, he said, hey, you know, um, are you charting at night? Right? Very simply, not like, hey, are you doing this? You're doing that, right? Just, hey, are you charting at night? And I said, no. Um, and he was like, well, that's a place that I would start. Charting is, uh, charting is only a piece of the puzzle when it comes to trading, but it is a very important piece, right? You have to know how to chart to trade it, of course, but you have to have a strong understanding of your emotions in order to trade that chart. So go, before I continue, right? Jap says, how do you recommend using 3-day trade on our PDT rule to grow an account back over PDT? Trade a cash account with options. Okay. What you trade today, if you day trade, right? So if I buy a position and close a position in the same day, tomorrow, Friday, the money's going to be in your account and available to trade. It's going to be settled. Okay. Also, if you are not confident in your trading process or system, I would withdraw money out of that account. I would not be trading with anything close to PDT. If everyone thinks PDT is this magical number. I know plenty of traders who are well above PDT but still trade on a cash account, because you don't need to trade your entire account each day. I'm trading, maybe 40% or less of my account, right, each day. I'm using less capital and making much more than I was trading small caps. So Sebastian said, what would be charting at night? Like, what is it that I'm looking for? So, like, if I'm going through a trade, right? So this was my process, right? Talked with Rhodes, hey, you chart this or that. And, a lot of you guys know me from, those annotated charts, right? From earlier last year in regards to small caps, right? So what I would do, my process going in, day out, was one, marking the pivots, and I wanted to clean the chart out completely. The first thing I would do would be marking where I bought and where I sold, okay? Because remember, are you an emotional trader? I don't have a Facebook swing. Are you an emotional trader, right? Or are you a technical trader? Technical trader trades based off of technical, right? Setups, everything like that. An emotional trader trades off of the feeling of like, oh, this is where we should enter because it feels like it's going to do this. Or, oh, this is where I should stop out because it feels bad enough to where I can't endure the pain any longer. Okay? So determine whether or not you are an emotional trader or learning or wanting to be a technical trader, right? So going through, you should mark first thing you should do, regardless of marking any formations or anything, mark your entries and exits, right? It's going to show you hey, am I really taking good trades, or am I taking very poor setups? So when we go through here, right, if you find your trades, right, I can chart here very simply, support, resistance. I'm not going to do that for the time being, right? But if you see your trades are all in the middle, right, your trades are on these big red bars or big green bars, right, or in the middle, but not in the supply or the demand or the support or the resistance, where there is a proper defined small risk, then that's your first step, right? That's your first, hey, I'm doing this wrong. I'm getting bad entries, right? How can I tighten that up? So going through, how can you tighten that up, right? You want to look at any kind of technical analysis that would be appropriate, right? Or something that you could base risk off of or trade off of throughout the day. So we can see, right, very simple concept, support off the open, and this was the resistance, right? Pushed up, rejected, resistance. So now we have two levels. Okay, if you want to tighten it up, this is only intraday, right? Because I know a lot of traders struggle with pre-market or other kind of levels, right? I'm just going to focus on the intraday, right? 9:30 to 4. So, adding more strength to this kind of move here, right? You can mark supply and demand, okay? Large bottoming wick here prior to a large move up. This is a demand zone. You just mark that kind of box across. Okay, supply zone here. Right, you can mark very simply those large tweezer, or not large, but those small tweezer top wicks right there. Okay, so you now have demand and supply. Okay, so remember, if you're buying in the middle, right, you are euphoric trading or you're scalping. And if you are taking a scalp, that's a different story. Okay, you should know that, hey, I'm in this trade for a very small amount of time, just trying to, encapsulate part of this move. So right, your entries should be less. You should be taking much more quality entries than the quantity of entries, right? So, we can see demand add there, demand add here. Even though it's demand, you have a low risk kind of setup, taking into context, right? Also the shorts up here, shorting the supply twice after the original entry, or the original rejection, excuse me, right? Very clean risk to reward entries. Yes, this pops up a little bit. Okay, but it rejects off this 5-minute 200 EMA. So, note that out, right? Don't just do the supply and demand, right? Look at, look at any formation. So you have, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? So if you want to go through and chart this out, right? You could see very clearly here, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? You can chart it like that, or, right? You mark that resistance like I talked about. That's the neckline. So if this shoved up and it came back down, yeah, you got a higher low. But if it makes a higher low, you have to be able to get the next higher high, right? So a candle like this, right? Candle above the high of the day, right? Higher highs and higher lows. You don't get a higher low. It completes the head and shoulders, and we see the reaction here, right? So go, even if you missed the trade or this or that, right, go through and review that and see what, you could have done correctly. You can see, VWAP fail, 9 and 20 EMA cross, right? Just go through, mark your pivot points, right? Higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows, and look exactly for when these trends fail. So, another example would be, if I zoom in here, right, off the open, there's a low, higher low, okay, higher low, right? Let me just remove that. We'll mark this level, right? Then you get a high, then you form a higher high. This is the next high, right? Now we had a higher low, higher low, higher low, but on this rejection here, we got a lower high, right? So if you get a weakness in your bullish trend, you get a lower high, you need to expect a higher low being put in. If the higher low is not being put in, then you're gonna have a stronger bearish trend, right? Look at your previous higher low. What happens? It fails. It is not being respected at all. Look at the reaction because of that. Okay, go through in your charts and look at consistencies. It was Davy Jones yesterday talking about, he went through the last 30 days of his QQQ charts and was talking about, this consistency that he was seeing at this certain time throughout the day, right? Do more work. Find what actually is working for you and is allowing you to be able to find and replicate and emulate multiple trades day in, day out. Right? Why do I like the 9 and the 20 EMA on the 10 minute? Because it's being used every single day. Right? I can go here on the 10 on QQQ. Look at that clean trend, right? Look at the day prior. Look at that clean trend off the open. Okay? Look at this one. Clean trend. Not so good here, right? But remember, we're not just EMA-based traders, guys. Support. Look at the resistance. You can mark a supply zone here or something, right? Support, resistance. Okay? Go through again. Look at the 10 EMA, 10-minute, 9, and 20. I know that at some point throughout the week, it's going to be respected, so why wouldn't I take trades based off of it, right? Look at this. I mean, look at the entries here. 9 and 20 EMA cross, entry. 9 rejection, 20 EMA rejection, right? 9 rejection, 9 rejection. So many entries there. And it's not even, like, that's on a 10-minute, so that you're being very patient for those entries. You're not on the one, like, panicking, oh, is this going to hold? Is this going to hold, right? The 1-minute EMAs are for strong trends like this, okay? So, going through the process of how to become a profitable trader, right? Your review, right? Screen time is green time. That's something that I've said for a long time, and I stand behind it still. The screen is going to tell you everything that you need to do about your trading, right? So, like, hey, if you FOMO into things, this or that, right? Review. Look at where and why you FOMO'd into something, okay? I also take notes throughout the day of my emotions experience. So maybe I'm being overly euphoric, a lot of gloating, cheering, right? Maybe I'm being a bit fearful or anxious, right? And take note of those and look at and understand your quality of trading depending upon what emotions you're experiencing at that time. As well as trusting my process. Now, I was talking with Q. You guys know Q, right? And he was swinging in the last couple days, this or that, right? I dabbled in a little bit and made good money on it, but they were much smaller kind of risk trades, right? Not going full size or anything like that, right? So, but trusting your process. If you're a day trader and you know how to day trade day in, day out, do not bring the same risk, right, or the same size over into something that you're learning, right? Trust what you know, right? Don't fix what's not broken. Now, that doesn't go to say that you can't refine what you know, right? Of course, you should always be looking to better yourself and improve your trading, but don't go and be like, hey, I'm a pretty good day trader, this or that. I'm going to completely change up my style, right? Your style is not broken, so don't change it, right? Just refine it. No, I'm not going to tell him that, Q. Rather than, so this was also another thing. I know that we have the live stream and the call outs and the trade walkthroughs and this or that, right? You guys also, you guys also follow other people on Twitter. There's other people who have call outs and trades being, taken or named and this or that, right? The thing that helped me a lot was I would rather take a loss on my own call out, on my own experience on that trade, than to win on someone else's call, right? You learn more from your losses. When you take a call out from someone and you don't know why it worked out, you're just randomly taking whatever was called out, right? You're not really trading, okay? That is just copying someone else, and you're not understanding the process. Now, it's not to say that, hey, if a call out is given or it's presented to you, you can look at that call out. You can determine, hey, is this a good risk to reward? Does this fit within my parameter of a trade? And make the trade your own, right? Say, okay, I will take that trade, right? And if the trade doesn't go in my manner or in my favor, then I'm going to cut it because I know where I should be cutting the trade, right? So, very simple kind of concept there, as well as, defining a clear risk management. A lot of traders, so just like I was talking about, stopping out, a lot of people don't know when to stop out or what they're trying to do for a trade. Remember I said you have to find what time frame chart you're trading and how you're going to trade it. So if I was trading on this 10, let's say that I took an entry there, right? And even though it's above my entry, I'm not going to stop out unless we close a candle above the 20, right? I know that shorts are going to use this 20 as their support, right? Because it's the inverse is going down. This is resistance for the longs. I know that, hey, buyers are holding this level here, and they will try to maintain it as best as they can until it's broken through and closed upon. So even if you take an entry there, you don't stop out because it never closed on the 20. That's a good trade, right? But when you take a trade like this, oh, I'm a FOMO into this long, where's your stop out, right? If you're a euphoric, base trader, you're not thinking about the stop. You're not thinking about the trade going against you. That's not even in your mind. You're thinking about how much money you're going to make, right? That's not a good thesis for trading. Someone said, do I ever cut if price pushes too far past the EMA before the candle closes? Not always. No. There have been times where I do experience that, and that is completely natural and normal to be going through that. But remember the 84% rule. So like, let's say that, let's say that you had entry there, right? You get stopped out. You get stopped out right there. Okay. What happens? It comes back down to your entry. Take it again. 84% rule, right? This prevents you from getting wicked out. Okay. That being wicked out, that happens all the time to some traders. The 84% rule, you got to learn it. Okay, as well as I think someone else in the chat, Sebastian said, would you get in when it breaks the previous low? Sorry, I think I went too fast for that context. So, continuing forward, right, defining a clear risk management. So, if I'm looking to take a trade, before I take any trade, I have a risk. So, let's say like I went here on the 5. Here, there we go. I traded AMD. This was one of the trades today. Okay, I think, no, hold on. I did this. We'll do this one. This is fine, right? We were consolidating right here, right? We can see that this was a level before, right? I know that, hey, this wicks below, but if I go long here, right, I'm not going to stop out until either the pivots break or this support level is truly broken, right? Because that is the level where buyers were most recently at, right? They absorbed everything under that. Wicks under beneath. This shoves through, you get an instant candle popping up the very next candle. So I'm thinking this closed right at the last second beneath here, and then it opens right up and pushes straight up. So, going through, right, if I take this entry, I know where my stop is, right? But I also have a target. Where's my target? I'm looking for a higher high. Where did I scale all out? Above the higher high, right? When we took this trade earlier today. Where was it? I think I took... yeah, right here. AMD 122 calls 1.8 to 2 bid in, right? We got in a little aggressively over 2, like 2.204. I went over the 84% rule at the beginning of the video. When this is over, you'll be able to, I think I went over it, I think the first 10 minutes or something like that. And going through, and remember, this is on the topic of how I became a profitable trader, right? So finding the trades that you can understand. Okay, maybe you don't understand supply and demand. That's fine, but what kind of trades do you understand? Right? Do you understand EMAs? Are you a pivot point trader, right? Trading the pivot breaks. Do you trade off of VWAP? Do you trade support and resistance, right? Look at what you can truly understand and take advantage of that as best as you can. Okay, so what I mean by that is, if you're someone who trades EMA crosses, you're trading EMA crosses and you have good success trading EMA crosses, then continue to trade those. Okay, continue to trade those until you can develop upon your strategy. So remember, you're not going to learn it all. Don't do this. Don't be like, oh, okay, I've learned supply and demand for a week now. So I'm going to move to EMAs, right? And then I'm going to move to, VWAP. And then I'm going to move to pivot points, right? All of these things. Don't do that. Master one thing at a time. You don't have to completely master it to move on to the next, but get a good understanding, right? And build upon your edge. So, when I started out, that naked trading video, right? I really understood pivot points. I really, could wrap my mind around lower highs, lower lows, higher highs, and higher lows, right? The pivots throughout the trade, whether it be on a macro trend or a micro trend, right? Now, from that, right, I built upon, supply and demand, right? And then I built upon the relationship of VWAP, okay? Then I built upon the relationship of the EMAs along the way, tying these all together and, using strategies that complement each other. Okay, I know that, hey, if the EMAs are not helping me out here, I know exactly what to do. I can use support and resistance. And I'm still in the trade, right? I'm still able to break down price action and see who's winning the bullish or bearish perspective. So, whoops, that was all caps. So, my kind of trades, I like trading supply and demand. Some of my favorite trades are zone to zone, as well as channels, right? I like trading support and resistance channels, as well as, trading EMAs. I like trading pivot points, pivot breaks. I love trading break-in bases. Break-in bases are great. Look at this. Now, I talked about a break-in base. A lot of people are confused upon it, or, you guys have all heard it before. It is a retest. So, like this VWAP here was previous support. It breaks through, and when it's retested, it acts as resistance. So you break through, break, base, continue to the downside, right? So continuing here. When I do get a break in base, normally, how much do I rely on Greeks? I only look at theta and delta. What is someone saying? Someone has, oh, I got you. So moving through here, right? On a break and base, you're gonna see a micro, very fast, aggressive break and base, right? And then you'll see a macro break and base. Typically, you'll see two, and you can capitalize on both. Okay, so going through here, right? You see, okay, big push down, strong candle closing beneath VWAP. This upper wick here shows that someone bought it up, pushed up the VWAP. It rejects, uses that as resistance, and shoves to the downside, right? Break and base. That's a micro trend break and base. The macro trend breaks through strongly under VWAP when it retraces a little bit, right? Longs intrinsically will push up or use VWAP as a magnet. Price tends to gravitate towards VWAP. Okay, so it breaks, bases, and then continues to the downside, right? So that's something that I use all the time. And it doesn't have to be on VWAP. Look at this. Okay, you have a support here. Okay, right? Breakthrough, base, downwards push. Okay, let's go on a different day. Let's just, I just flicked my wheel, right? That sounds sturdy. But, you have a support here, right? What happens? You break through, bases, continues to the downside, right? Let's do another one. Let's do a different day. Let's look at this day, right? Let me see if I can find one. This looks just like an straight up. I mean, we can look at this right here. Previous resistance, okay? Or, yeah, resistance. Breaks up, bases, get a nice little push up, right? We'll go through. We'll move through this one. Okay, perfect right here. Break down on the price action under VWAP, right? Pushes up, bases, nice short to the downside, right? We'll go on another one. We'll do another example. Day in, day out. I mean, this is telling you guys, hey, you can use this every day, right? Look at VWAP. Off the open, VWAP is not broken through until it is, right? First 5-minute candle breaks through VWAP. Now remember, look at the microtrend. You have a microtrend break, base, shove down, right? That's the micro one. Now in the macro trend, larger time frame, 5-minute, breaks below VWAP, base is on VWAP. You see the selling pressure here on VWAP. Look at the reaction to the downside, right? So why do I do that? It prevents me from taking weak or lazy breakout buys, right? Breakout buyers in the market are it makes me feel bad calling them lazy, but you know, for some people it works out. For myself, I feel like there's much more work involved when getting into an entry, right? But think about this trader who, you know, right here, this was the pivot break. Let's say that they FOMO'd into the calls, right? Or they're a breakout trader. That's the excuse, right? They're a breakout trader, so they buy the breakout, right? There is no break in base. You only get the break, right? Where's the base? No base. So down, right? That's how you prevent yourself. For me to go long, I need to see a breakup, base on VWAP, then the continuation. Your entry is here, right? On the base. Because why? Why is the entry on the base? Because then you can use that area where it based as your risk, right? Your support level for that trade. One second. Silent Hell says, I would love to join. Oh wait, hold on. Let me see. I'm trying to, okay. Hi, thanks for the free info. What would you say your biggest weakness in trading is right now, and how are you going to address it? It would be good to know how a good trader addresses their weaknesses. Great question, right? I have actually gone through this this past week, right? So I, going into this new month, was like, hey, you know, I am taking trades on the right trend, but I want to get in on the reversal or really understand when price is going to reverse. So I looked at when prices began to reverse, right, and what they were doing. So remember, we have two phases of trading here, right? We have, one second. This is a good one, right? So we'll just go to today. That's fine. So normally, right, these are the two phases. You have consolidation, trend, okay? Consolidation, trend. Now we're back in consolidation. Now, when we get into consolidation, there are two possible outcomes, right? There is the fact that, one, we may continue to the upside, and two, the consolidation shows a bit of weakness in the current trend, right? This was overextended, a kind of overreaction. So we should take note of how to spot those reversals, okay? Resistance, support. This is all you're looking and fighting over. What happens, guys? Look at the support. Can anyone tell me, right? Anyone tell me what happens on this channel here? I love trading channels. All right, I think we just went over it. Yeah, Jay Hughes just got it, right? Breaking base, right? Look at that. Yep, right, Johnny Pastrami, right? There's the support. You break beneath it. You don't FOMO into the short. You don't FOMO into this. You want cheaper contract premiums, right? You want a pullback. You always want to buy in a pullback. Basis uses that previous support as resistance, and look at the reaction. Your entry is right here, guys. Okay, right there. It's screaming. The trend is always, the chart is always going to tell you exactly what you need to do. Okay, so what I did, I went in my nightly review for my charts, and I was looking at when it reversed, right? So remember, consolidation. What's the phase after consolidation? Trending. So we trend. Oh, hey, we've extended pretty far down. We've broken through VWAP. Here's the 5-minute 200 EMA. Now we're consolidating. What do? Right where it bounced, you mark support. Hey, right where it pushes up, you mark the resistance. Now you trade the range, okay? So I got very good about looking at the trend, right? The health of the trend. This was a quick pit stop, right? Shorts covering for a very quick scalp lock-in. Remember, when you break a pivot, you need to lock it in. So the short that was shorting up here broke the pivot low. That was their first target, so they lock it in, right? They lock some profit in. Now, those later shorts have the opportunity to take those stop outs away from longs, right? Because longs have to sell, right, in order to get out of their position, but shorts will sell to take away those sells, right? It's like squeezing them to the downside. So look for those. I would go in my review each night looking at that, as well as focusing on EMAs, writing trends longer as well. Also, let me catch back up on the chat. Someone said, do I buy the options on the ask or the mid when grabbing contract? I typically slap the ask or market buy, right? Especially if I'm trading the indexes or something with a tight spread. Remember, always look at the spread and always look at the option contract volume. But yeah, we do these sessions every single night, guys. Or not every single night, but four to 5 times a week, which is almost every night. Let's see. Just catching up on the chat. So like if I draw, someone's asking how I delete this. So if I drew this, press Control Z, right? And then it's gone. Also, like if you have a bunch of charts, right, or a bunch of trend lines or whatever throughout the day because you've been charting it out and you need to clear it out, but you don't want to lose your chart, but you just want to see, a clean perspective, clear the drawing set. Okay. Press Control Z and it's all done, right? It just undoes it. Thanks. I appreciate it. So right, guys, right? I really, if you are looking into refining your kind of trading style and, your ability and skills as a trader, right? Dig deeper into what you are actually doing as a trader. Okay. Most of the time, as humans, we have a hard time accepting and, taking responsibility of our faults, but it's all right there in front of you. I tell everyone each morning, please be patient with your trades and you have everything necessary in order to be a profitable trader. You just may not have a strong enough understanding of your emotions, right? The chart every single day. Are you going to tell me that this chart here didn't have any opportunities to make money, right? And you were red on the day, right? A lot of times where you take entry is the wrong thing to do. So like, I know someone who bought a put here and they got stopped out. But had they had a different perspective that they learned through their nightly chart review or their own review of themselves, that put, if it was a call, they would have made money, right? So yeah, you take an entry, you have a 50-50 of being right, okay? But understanding the strength of your entry. A large shove down here, nothing's telling me to go short on a down tick. You want to short the uptick, the pops up, okay? This got popped up, so shorts are selling. This is pushing down, so it's better risk reward for the longs. Yes, you sure can, Fabian. Right, and for the Discord, right, there is a, we do have a, wait 1 second, here. There's a promo on my Twitter if you check it out. 1 second here. Sharp says, is there anything to know about the dark pool orders, the long extended wicks and pre-market or after hours? So normally these upper wicks, and it has worked out the past couple of days, right? Ooh, whoops. This is on, yep, here we go. So yesterday or going into the market today, right, you have these dark pull orders, right? This right here, these large upper wicks that are not accurate for actual TA. Okay, but normally when it shoves up, when you see a dark pull order, price typically pushes up to that level. Now, not always, but about 60, maybe 70% of the time. Okay, so if we see that right off the open, that could have been a target, right? Pushing up, you would have made great money on the long, right? If we go to QQQ, right? Look at the QQQ dark pull orders, right? Remember, this is off. This is before the open. None of this has happened, right? But we get a sell off. There are dark pull orders down here. What does price do? Price pushes down to those dark pull orders, fills the dark pull orders, right? These are already filled technically, but I'm saying like a gap fill, looking at them like a gap. And it pushes down and touches that dark pull order, and then the price is done, right? It doesn't always happen though. Remember, we have these dark pull orders. Price didn't push up to this. It may push up to it eventually, but it hasn't pushed up to it today. So it's not always going to work. Blink says, my issue sometimes is if it is basing slightly over that resistance, I sometimes don't know if it's a base or a reclaim. It's got to be a strong break, right? It has to be a strong break. So like this, right? Strong break on the candle. You know, right here, this support. See the support? See that break right there? That strong red candle. Break, base, continuation to the downside, right? And on the base, you want to see weakness. You want to see like selling or buying pressure if you're trading to the upside. See that large upper wick? So, you know, guys, going through tomorrow, right? We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go through pre-market prep, right? We'll go through the Maples watch list channel. I'll chart out contracts in the morning, picking out what we're going to trade or what I plan on trading, as well as the contracts traded and my overview of the market. As well as, you know, focusing on being patient, following our rules, trusting our kind of a, you know, skill set that we have developed, right? You guys work so hard to develop a trading edge, right? A trading strategy. So why when the market, when the market bell dings, right? Why does that all go out the window? Why do we not respect our hard work and determination that we've put in so far? Dep1 says, what time do I do the pre-market prep? 8? Yes, I do the pre-market prep at 8:30, so an hour before open. And we're typically done with the pre-market prep with charting all the contracts and charts and everything about 30, 45 minutes in. And then I read over, you know, the small account affirmations and, you know, trying to prepare us mentally and emotionally prior to the open. There's a lot of emotions that go off on the open, and I want to make sure that everyone is level-headed and not overly anxious going into the open. As well as, you know, in the Discord, I see a lot of people asking about it in the Twitch chat. If you enjoyed this live session tonight, right, we do live sessions like this 4 to 5 times a week. There's over 100 videos in this Google Drive file now. You know, TA refresher, how to simplify your trading, probably one of my best videos, right? Small account help, how to execute options, right? Trade review, positive performance, and needed improvements for newer traders, how to buy high and sell higher in an uptrend. 9 and 20 EMA strategy breakdown, right? Cautionary measures for the new year. Okay, psychological think tank group session. My pre-market channel strategy, right? How to be patient when trading, supply and demand refresher. There's so many lessons and strategies here that I have worked on for years, and now they're all recorded and available for you to, you know, check out and study all the time. You know, you can ask anyone who has been in the Discord for, I think we've been doing it for about 5 months now. You can ask anyone about the process, and I am very honest. I am very dedicated to the group. And, you know, this is not a call out service, right? This is a service if you want to learn how to become an independent trader and a profitable trader from the right perspective. Don't expect any illiquid, stupid mid-cap pumps or anything like that, right? We're going to be trading indexes and large caps with volume and liquidity day in, day out. And regardless of the day, you should leave the day learning a new lesson, right? Or understanding a new lesson. So, you know, going through, guys, you have all of the necessary skills needed to become a profitable or even an independent trader, right? But, you know, being a human, we are all very prideful beings, okay? So, and pride will kill you, okay? Being prideful gets you really nowhere in life, right? I have to be accountable and responsible for all of my mistakes made. And when that mistake occurs, I need to know what to do the next time that it arises, okay? Next time that situation may come into access. So, yes, Def1, you get, yep, access to all those videos. Yep, it's all in the Google Drive in the Start Here channel. You know, so focus on what your faults are. I know as a trader and as a human, right? But when I got into trading, before trading everything, right? As a person, you know, I can be an angry person, okay? I definitely can, right? I can be a very mean person. And, you know, how that can linger over into your trading if you're angry, right? You can revenge trade. You can FOMO trade, right? You can over trade, right? If you're a fearful person, you're very timid, you're very anxious, you have a lot of, you know, fear or anxiety, right? You may be someone who identifies setups but doesn't have the confidence to take it. So then you keep missing those setups, and then you end up taking a bad entry, and then you end up taking losses because of the bad entry. But you were so fearful that you didn't take your original A plus setup that that's the bane of your trading, right? That's the reason why you fail. So, do I only trade options? Yes, I only trade options. How would I size a $10,000 account? If you don't know how to trade $1,000, if you're not profitable trading $1,000, don't trade a $10,000 account. I would withdraw $9,000 and trade the 1,000. Trade one contract at a time. If you can't make $20, if you can't make $20, you can't make $100. You can't make $400. You can't make $1,000. Okay, if you can't prove to yourself day in, day out that you can make a small amount of money, then what makes you think you can make a large amount of money, right? And I just want people to understand that, because everyone thinks you can come into trading. Everyone was like, oh, I'm going to get this down in 6 months. I'm going to be rich in a year. I'm going to be stupid rich in a year and a half, right? Now, a lot of traders get to the realization that, hey, this shit is hard. Okay, it is one of the hardest things that you will do. And if you don't respect your money, right? I come from a background, no silver spoon, right? Very impoverished. Had to work for everything that I've ever had. Okay, I have a huge respect for money. I'm very frugal. I do not like wasting money. Okay, so that applies to my trading in the market. And that's why I can protect myself day in, day out. I would never, so think about that. Do I have swing options? Yes, we just had a swing yesterday, made over 100%. I think it was yesterday. Made over 100% on the February 4th 370 calls, and then scalped them again for $100 a contract. Yeah, exactly. So, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up here, right? I hope that this session helps you in regards to your technical analysis. I hope that this helps you in regards to your trading psychology. I hope that this helps you understand, what is a proper and improper trade throughout the day, right? So, tomorrow's the last day for the live streams on Twitch, right? Normally throughout the month, I am only in the Discord, and I will, stream within the Discord. In the beginning, the first week of the month, I typically stream the first week, right, to show traders and educate traders who, just don't know about the process that we're going through day in, day out, right? I daily live stream 4 to 6 hours, walking through trades, call out. I mean, you guys, if you watched the stream earlier today, you saw how I gauged through price action today and made a lot of winning trades. I think I probably had 3 losing trades or something. As well as, going through and, we have live sessions like this. I've done a live session every night this week, right? Every night this week. I'm very dedicated to the Discord, and I want you all to be able to gain process and progress on your trading journey, right? I've been in your shoes, right? Everyone who posts the fucking, the Lamborghinis or like the cars or like, Rolexes and all of that shit, right? For someone who, comes from less or lower middle class and this or that, right? I don't care about that. I cared about not having to worry about gas. I cared about having groceries, not caring about the grocery bill. I cared about my bills being paid, right? Would you rather learn from someone that you could relate to and has gone through the actual experiences, or just some bullshit, on Twitter, right? So, really think about that in your process. Motivation, it is great, but it doesn't really do much for you. I see this car that I want. Oh, I'm going to try to do my best. I'm going to be rich one day through trading to buy that car, right? That doesn't help you with your process. That doesn't teach you what to do when a trade goes against you. That doesn't help you at all. Okay? So, focus on that, right? I will see everyone tomorrow morning at 8:30 for pre-market prep. We'll go through, chart all the contracts, everything like that, walk through trades. It is Friday, guys. Friday is a lot of traders' worst days. Why is that? Remember at the beginning of this session? Yo, Data Trader, thanks. Remember at the beginning of this session, I talked about you know, how traders want to approach the beginning of the month and the end of the month, right? It's the same thing for the beginning of the week and the end of the week. Everyone wants to start the week off green, and everyone wants to end the week off green. Not everyone, through statistics and probability, will. How do you adapt to that? Going into tomorrow, be quicker with profit. Be happy with the profit that you take. Don't be upset if the trade keeps ripping in front of you. Be happy that you took money. You extracted money from the market. You beat the odds. That is 95% of traders can't do that. Okay? So, and as well, if you're not comfortable trading zero DTEs, I typically stop trading them after like 2 o'clock or something like that, or really like 12 o'clock. Trade the next expiry out. Trade Monday. Trade Wednesday, right, for next week. So, once again, I hope that you guys enjoyed this session. Okay, I hope that this helped. Please get some rest tonight. Relax a little bit. If you haven't reviewed, right, get a little bit of charting time in, even if it's on Webull or something like that. You know, just take care of yourself, right? Drink some water, stretch, you know, have not only a healthy mindset, but you know, take care of yourself along the way, right? Don't be self-loathing. Don't hate yourself. Don't call yourself stupid, any of that, right? Take trading as a positive mindset, right? If this is truly going to be your passion, you cannot be hateful or you know, loathing towards your passion, right? I love this shit. I could talk about this all day. You know, I probably get on my fiance's nerves day in, day out because this is all I fucking talk about, right? Let it be your passion and be positive about that experience, okay? Don't go in here and be like, I'm not making money, so I'm not progressing. That's not true. You're learning. You are progressing. You will eventually become a profitable trader, right? If you never give up. So, once again, thank you guys. I'll catch everyone in the morning. Get some rest, drink some water, stretch, right? Pet your dog, or if you don't have a dog, I'm sorry. And I'll catch you guys in the morning, right? Thanks. Thank you for tuning in, and let's have a good end to the rest of the week.